Hi, this is Paul Kelly, N1BUG. I'm standing at the Piscataquis Amateur Radio Club communications site and home of the N1BUG repeater in Brownville, Maine. There's an overall view. You can see the little repeater building there, base of the tower on the left. My little vehicle parked beside the building there, loaded up with some stuff ready for the trip home from here, which is about 7 miles by road. I'll come over here and pan up the tower. You can see the antennas. This is a 105-foot tower. At about the 75-foot level, there's the Wi-Fi link antenna back to my home. And at the top, at 105 feet, is our repeater antenna there, a telewave. Top of that antenna is at about 125 feet above ground level. I'll go ahead and walk inside and show you the equipment here. Coming up to the front of the equipment rack here, this black panel at the top is a forward reflected power meter. Shows us how much power is going out, how much is coming back. This repeater normally runs about 200 watts. The repeater itself here just below, this is custom built and packaged by me using GE transmitter and receiver modules, a Link Communications RLC4 repeater controller, tone decoders, encoders, filters, etc., all custom packaged in here. And one of the features of this is the door does open up. You can get at a lot of wiring in here to look at all the audio signals from the receiver going to the transmitter, the controller, etc. All the DC voltages can be measured in here. And there's some circuitry on the back of the door as well for controls, metering, audio, speaker, etc. This ventilated panel down here, just covering up a couple of fans that are on the amplifier, which is right behind there. You can't see the amplifier very well. That's a Henry Radio 250 watt VHF repeater amplifier in there. And coming down here we have the Astron 50 amp power supply that normally powers the system. A homebrew 30 amp battery charger below that. You can see the batteries, I call these the odd couple, down here below. They give us about 2.5 hours of transmit time or many days on standby if nobody's using the repeater in the event of a commercial power failure up here. Come around to the side here. In the back of the rack, there's the back of our networking panel, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. This unit here is a little impedance matcher that makes the amplifier a little bit more happy with the reactance of those duplexer cavities. It just keeps everything nice and happy when you're running this kind of power. There's a side view, a little bit of the Henry amplifier. You still can't really see it in there very well. Of course, the power supplies again. Here's our power distribution panel here with all the wires connected to it. The main power supply, the battery, and the load, all the repeater equipment connect on here, and this basically keeps the main power supply and the battery isolated. So the charger charges the battery, the main power supply does not attempt to do that, so it can concentrate on powering the repeater equipment. We don't have a large enough power supply to do both at the same time. That's why there are two in this isolation panel here. A little box of tools there, and the 6-cavity duplexer sitting back here underneath the little bench. Try to get a little shot of that there. We do have a little workbench here in the back, which also used to have some other equipment sitting on it, which is no longer here. There's where all the cables go to the outside world, what there is of them. Oh, and the rock is covering a spare hole so mice don't get in here, in case you were wondering. There are a lot of mice around this place. Okay, there's the networking panel. The little white box there is a serial device server. Basically converts to and from RS-232 signals out of the repeater controller to Ethernet, which runs into this black box with the green lights on it. You may not see the box too well, but you can see the lights flashing away. That's a wireless access point, which also has 4 wired connections that you can hook into there. And then our network cable, this blue one over here coming out, goes to a Ubiquiti Bullet M2 high power radio device on the tower. 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi linked back to my home about 5.5 miles away, which basically makes this repeater essentially a part of my home network. I can do anything I want with the repeater controller, reprogram it, control functions of the repeater, etc., all from the comfort of home. We do have, that's fairly new. We just got the networking hooked up. In fact, that's what I was here today to do, is to finalize that and put it on a nice neat panel. Everything was just laying around here, there, and everywhere for a little while. We do have a heater in here, in case somebody's up here in the winter working. This does a fairly good job of warming up the building fairly quickly. And our main breaker panel there. So there you have it. That is a quick tour of the PARC communications facility and the N1BUG 147.105 repeater in Brownville, Maine. So thanks for watching. This is Paul, N1BUG. If they were visiting the area or whatever, well, we hope to hear from you. Give us a call. 147.105 with a 103.5 hertz tone.